Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a horror thriller from 2015 titled, The Resort. In a recovering post-apocalyptic world, a woman embarks on a therapeutic trip to a zombie-themed island resort. However, her visit takes an unexpected turn as it becomes a desperate battle for survival. News reports are discussing the resort, which has implemented the Brimstone Protocol, a fail-safe reserved for potential outbreaks of the Chromo Syndrome virus. This virus transforms infected individuals into undead zombies. The Brimstone Protocol involves completely incinerating the affected area to ensure no zombies remain. Located on one of the Canary Islands, the resort is now the only place where zombies can be found. It operates as a unique attraction, allowing guests to pay for the experience of shooting zombies. Valerie Wilton, the CEO of the resort, is praised as a visionary who has turned the zombie crisis into an opportunity to create jobs and stimulate the economy. On the island, there are also refugee camps called Hope for You, providing shelter for those displaced by the previous outbreak. As the reporter concludes her segment, bomber jets fly overhead, serving as confirmation of the island resort's fate. 10 days ago, Melanie sat in solitude long after her zombie support group had finished. After being asked to leave, she headed to dinner with her boyfriend, Louis. She told him that going to the resort had helped one of the members, and now she is considering doing it herself. She expressed her desire to overcome her personal issues, fearing that Louis might leave. However, Louis assured her that he will never abandon her. Later that night, Melanie wakes up scared, and Louis gets up to comfort her. He encourages her to go back to sleep, but instead, she watches a video of her dad's final message. In the recording, her father implored her to change and be strong, even after the outbreak is over. Days later, the couple is en route to the resort. After the plane ride, their first stop is a lounge area at a port where they await the boat that will ferry them to the island. The lounge is filled with other vacationers, including Jack and Alfie, a pair of gamers, and a group of investors aspiring to establish a similar venture. At the bar stands Sadie, who was left by her fiancé and unable to refund their stay at the island resort. Near the window, Melanie catches sight of a little girl clutching a blue teddy bear, but the girl is swiftly whisked away by her mother. The attendant announces that their boat is ready, prompting the vacationers to line up. Upon reaching the island, waiting vehicles are ready to shuttle them to the main resort. Among the last to embark is Archer, a seasoned veteran at the resort. The couple is shown their room, and afterwards, they attend an orientation where they learn how to handle guns. Louis takes the opportunity to teach Melanie how to handle a pistol. Following the orientation, the resort hosts a pool party, and Valerie, the CEO, delivers a speech while showcasing a white-dressed zombie. Amidst the festivities, Sadie slips away and accesses a restricted area. She inserts a flash drive into a computer and downloads the resort's confidential files. As Valerie concludes her speech, Archer notices Sadie acting suspiciously as she emerges from a restricted room. The next day, Melanie catches sight of the same white-dressed zombie being escorted away. Meanwhile, the resort's computer technicians are scrambling to conceal an issue plaguing their system, working to keep the problem under control. At the hangar, Tom and Mike talk about who they'll be chauffeuring around for the day. Soon, the guests enter and are directed to their respective vehicles. Meanwhile, in the control room, Valerie initiates the opening of the park for the guests and observes as the trucks drive out. However, when Salva attempts to close the doors, there is a brief malfunction in the system. Although the issue is quickly resolved, Valerie becomes concerned. Salva downplays the problem, assuring that it was just a minor hiccup. While driving towards their destination, Tom goes through a series of safety reminders with his group. He emphasizes that coming into contact with blood is acceptable, but they should avoid bites since the virus is transmitted through saliva. Furthermore, he mentions that fresh zombies tend to be faster, although it's not a concern since all the zombies in the park are from the initial outbreak. Finally, he instructs everyone to aim for the head when shooting. Meanwhile, Mike drives the investors to a compound where restrained zombies pop out for target practice. At the same time, Tom's group stands on a rocky outcrop, observing a swarm of undead below. The guide distributes weapons, but Sadie politely declines to take one. After dropping one zombie, Louis hands the rifle to Melanie, who hesitates when the zombie locks eyes with her. Before she can react, Archer swiftly takes out the zombie, impressing the group with his veteran skill. He proceeds to eliminate zombies in rapid succession. In the control room, Salva assists another technician in addressing the persistent file corruption issue. Seeing that the system remains compromised, Valerie instructs Tate to run diagnostics. After concluding the shooting activities for the day, Tom drives to their campsite as everyone settles in. Melanie expresses her disappointment and continues to struggle with her issues. Louis reassures her, offering words of encouragement. Meanwhile, Archer, growing suspicious of Sadie's behavior, questions her about why she hasn't participated in shooting any zombies. She explains that it was her ex-fiancé who had an interest in the resort, not her. After Archer walks away, the gamers attempt to impress Sadie, oblivious to her disinterest. As night falls, Tate reports his discovery of unauthorized access during the pool party. Concerned, Valerie immediately contacts security. However, before any action can be taken, the system experiences a severe glitch, and Salva struggles to regain control. Valerie issues an emergency announcement, but the guides aren't in place to hear it. Salva's efforts to regain control of the system prove futile as it crashes completely, resulting in the disengagement of all park defenses. The zombies are unleashed as the bay doors open, adding to the chaos in the compound. The investors, prepared to leave in their vehicle, spot a stray zombie, and Mike swiftly neutralizes it. However, the distracted investors fail to notice another zombie lurking beside them, which drags away their friend. They rush to escape, leaving their friend behind. Upon hearing that the entire park is now defenseless, Valerie commands security personnel to secure all entrances. Unfortunately, it's too late as the zombies are already rampaging throughout the resort. Overwhelmed, Salva gives up repairing the system and flees, only to be met with a horde of undead. Among the intruders is the white-dressed zombie, who surprisingly remembers Valerie. Seeking refuge from the mayhem, the CEO retreats to her office. From there, she witnesses the unfolding devastation and observes as the Brimstone Protocol is initiated. Meanwhile, at their campsite, Sadie keeps watch while Melanie emerges from her tent. Sadie advises her that it's still too early to take over the watch. Sharing her drink, Sadie comments that zombies are just like any other people. In response, Melanie expresses her hatred for the zombies and recounts how she witnessed her own father's transformation into one. Sadie offers a different perspective, explaining that the term zombie originated from the African word for soul, and that zombies, through the loss of their free will, had their souls trapped. Sadie laments over the mistreatment of zombies, predicting that even those with souls will face similar disrespect. She spots a zombie lurking just beyond Melanie's shoulder. Distressed, Melanie shouts, rousing the entire group. Seeing Sadie's reluctance to shoot, Archer takes matters into his own hands and eliminates the zombie. The breach alarms Tom, who reveals that hidden fences are in place to prevent such a situation. He then illuminates the area with truck spotlights, revealing that they are completely surrounded by the undead. Alarmed, the group quickly spreads out and starts firing at the approaching zombies. Tom desperately radios for help, only to be met with an announcement regarding the activation of the Brimstone Protocol. Tom desperately tries to start the truck, but the engine fails to run. Archer urgently calls for a magazine, and Melanie quickly retrieves one for him. However, in the chaos, a zombie manages to grab hold of Melanie. Acting swiftly, Sadie shoves the zombie and then shouts for everyone to climb onto the truck for safety. After the veteran shoots a zombie that latches onto Tom, Sadie helps him up. Jack slides over, followed by Melanie and Lewis. Jack calls over Alfie, who unfortunately gets bitten while climbing up the truck. Lewis eliminates the zombies and the bitten Alfie, while Jack stares at his fallen friend. Soon, Archer commands them to halt, recognizing that there are no more threats. As dawn breaks, Lewis holds on to hope and assures the group that help is on its way. However, Tom informs them that the entire park is down, and they only have a few hours left until the implementation of the Brimstone Protocol. The guide suggests following standard procedure and rallying at the docks to avoid being collateral damage. Archer sets off, but Tom interrupts, saying that the journey is impossible on foot. Instead, he directs their attention to a communications tower in the distance, explaining that it has underground access leading to the docks. Before they depart, Jack takes a moment to pay his respects to Alfie. Navigating through thickets, the group follows Archer's lead. Out of nowhere, a zombified Mike lunges at Jack. Reacting swiftly, Tom neutralizes his former friend. The veteran urges the group to keep moving, knowing that time is of the essence. Distressed, Tom is in disbelief that things went wrong, especially knowing that their security is supposed to be foolproof. Jack suspects it's some kind of virus done by a hacker. Continuing along the path, the group stumbles upon the wreckage of Mike's truck, which crashed into a fence. Squeezing through the gap, they see a horde of undead approaching from within the truck. A zombified investor attempts to bite Melanie. Without hesitation, Sadie eliminates the threat, while Lewis sees the opportunity to scavenge a gun as he slips past. Once everyone successfully passes through the gate, a zombie sinks its teeth into Tom. Reacting swiftly, Archer neutralizes the attacker, while Lewis doesn't give Tom time to process his grief and shoots him. Disgusted, Melanie glares at her boyfriend amidst the tense situation. Jack consoles Sadie, remarking that the zombie-fight investor she shot was a jerk. Meanwhile, Melanie remains disturbed by Lewis's true nature. Archer steps in, explaining that her boyfriend's actions were necessary given the circumstances, though she remains indignant. As the group approaches the communications array, Archer confronts Sadie about her secretive behavior in the staff room. When he continues to press, she admits that she downloaded files from the mainframe following the instructions of a Living to Undead rights activist group. The activist reveals the flash drive she used to access the computer, and Jack becomes furious, realizing that Sadie had unknowingly infected the system with malicious software. Now aware of Sadie's actions, the group turns their backs on her. Sadie, however, insists that their intention was only to shut down the resort. Despite this, the group continues on their journey. They reach a compound, their final hurdle before reaching the communications array. As they navigate through the area, it soon becomes overrun with zombies, and amidst the chaos, Jack and Sadie get separated by a zombie. Selflessly, the activist puts herself at risk to save Jack but ends up getting bitten. Accepting her fate, Sadie hands over the flash drive to the gamer. With a relentless horde of undead in pursuit, Jack warns the rest of the group, urging them to run ahead to the communications building. Despite Lewis's insistence on leaving the gamer behind, they all manage to make it safely into the building, though Jack remains grief-stricken over Sadie's death. Melanie takes the flash drive from him, carrying the weight of their mission. With only 55 minutes remaining until the Brimstone airstrike, they pass through dark tunnels, aware that the zombies are closing in on them. The dark tunnel eventually leads them into an area with metal cages that start rattling as the approaching zombies draw near. Pushing through, they reach a room that feels like an oven with scorching walls and barriers. As they enter a room that seems safe, a zombie drops from above, quickly shot by Archer. Tragically, Jack is bitten, and the veteran is forced to put him down. The three survivors push forward and finally open the last door. They step into the Refugee Halls of Hope, which is revealed to be a fake charity organization that entices refugees into the resort to be turned into zombies. It suddenly becomes clear to Melanie that Sadie was right all along. The living are being treated as if they were undead. They piece together that the resort requires a continuous supply of zombies to sustain its operations, and the heated walls are for artificially aging the new zombies emerging from the curtains. Melanie sees the same girl, holding her blue teddy bear from the lounge, but zombified, further reinforcing the island's cruelty. Suddenly, more zombies appear, and they're forced to retreat back into the room. However, both entrances are now being flooded by zombies. Melanie and Lewis manage to close the door leading to the heated walls, preventing any more zombies from entering through that route. However, Archer struggles to close the door leading to the refugee hall, and Melanie rushes to his aid. Even with their combined effort, they can't fully shut the door. Despite Lewis's promises, he abandons Melanie, escaping through a hanging chain. The veteran bids Melanie to go next while he keeps the door closed. Once Melanie reaches the top, Archer's final words are to make sure Sadie's flash drive and the resort's evil are exposed. With only 16 minutes remaining until the Brimstone airstrike, Melanie presses on. Along the way, she comes across a lifeless body and takes his gun. Understanding through the betrayal that she must rely on her own strength to survive, she exits into the hotel waiting area, which is swarming with zombies. Unexpectedly, Lewis emerges, swiftly closing the door behind him. He apologizes for abandoning her, explaining that during the first outbreak, it was every person for themselves. Melanie notices that he's bitten, and she points the gun at him. However, she still finds herself unable to pull the trigger and instead hands the weapon to her boyfriend. Somberly, Melanie watches as Lewis takes his life. Afterwards, she takes a gun from a dead guest and retraces her steps as zombies approach from around the corner. Melanie is suddenly pulled into Valerie's office. The CEO informs her about an emergency exit located near the computers, but reaching it will require distracting the zombies. Melanie sees the moment to confront Valerie about her atrocities, and the CEO uses capitalism to justify her actions. In a desperate move, Valerie tries to seize Melanie's weapon, leading to a struggle that ends with a weapon discharging, attracting the attention of the surrounding zombies. As the room is overrun, Melanie escapes into the hallway, leaving the CEO to face her fate. She flees outside, managing to outrun the scattered zombies. In a final act of desperation, she leaps into the ocean just as the airstrike levels the island. 3 weeks later, Archer is somewhere in America, watching the news of Melanie exposing the resort's hidden files and their connection to the refugee charity. During the news report, Melanie shares that she went to the resort to fix herself but realized it wasn't her that needed fixing. She emphasizes that the horrors of the zombie outbreak have gradually eroded people's humanity. As the news reporter wraps up her segment, the camera captures a swarm of zombies launching a ferocious assault on the port leading to the resort's island. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe to support the channel.